Hello and welcome all. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday for Wisecrack Live. It is September 6th, 2023. Thank you all for coming back. It's been difficult without you, I gotta say. Henry here saying Michael will be with us in just a few moments as we work out some tech bugs and get used to being back on this kind of schedule. In the meantime, hi everybody. What's the biggest event that happened that you wish you had the stream around to chat about? Let me know in the chat. Oh, that's good to hear, Offset Wasted. I hope you're extremely happy and send us some of that music. It's probably very awesome. Daddy Michael will be with us soon. I hope I'm coming through clearly. I had to reset my microphone levels, and so we're kind of running a new fresh sound setup here. Welcome, Kayla. Hey there, Judabides, and yeah, good topic. Celebrity deaths are interesting to me because it's something you don't think is going to affect you, even if you're kind of like an edgy, disaffected youth. But then you start, aging, and some happen that surprisingly affect you, and it'd be interesting to talk about and see what some people feel in terms of celebrity deaths have surprised them as far as emotional effect goes. Yeah, I agree with that one, Offset Wasted. Also, I saw earlier you listed that you do shoegaze in El Paso. Nice shout out to El Paso, Texas. Love my hometown. I'm seeing demands for Raw Dome. I hope everybody remembers the prerequisites for Raw Dome. Go ahead and share this stream. Let's get some people watching today. Give Michael a welcome back to the world of posting. He's been offline for a bit. I'm sure he has stories to tell us about that. Yeah, even I don't know the specifics on the Michael getting Twitter canceled drama, so I'm sure we'll find out a bit of that today. Also, who's referred to it as X casually so far? Because, yeah, I keep hearing it referred to as Twitter. Clearly, you see the thumbnail and how we're talking about it. Everybody's still referring to it as Twitter. Uh, has anyone unironically adopted X as the name yet?
Wow, guys, it's been a long okay, it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you, but I had a newborn child to attend to. What's up, guys? It's Wisecrack Live. We're back for a little bit. We're gonna check it out. See, things are moving. I'm moving the desk as we go. It's Michael Burns. It's Henry. We're still here. In case anyone thought that I didn't have a kid, I actually got fired or something like that. Still here, still around. I'm gonna do something real quick, guys. You're seeing things happen in real time, a little movie magic for you. Um, but glad to be back. I'm in studio in Wisecrack's office, and I'm not supposed to say. Producer Olivia got mad when I said where it was, but so good to see all these names in the chat. It's making me very happy. I'm going to say something that many of you are going to think is bullshit, but I swear to God, it's not bullshit. I missed you. Really miss you guys in the chat. So, what's up, Julia and Curtis and Kayla and Eddie, the artist, and Ian and Deadcard and Natasha and Aaron. I'm not gonna get everyone right now. Of course, Urinator, Mr. Navidad. Lots of our friends are here. Penny Waldrop is here. Hopefully, we have some lords of the chat today. Julia asked a question. I'll say it right off the bat. Someone said, "Where's the where's the bisexual lighting?" We'll get it back. We're working it out. Got a couple. How's the baby things? Let's just get right to it, guys. On July 13th, at 6 a.m. in the morning, my wife gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. I'll give you her name. Is that weird? I'll share it. Her name is Faye. Middle name Siskel. Last name Burns.
Awesome.
So there are
Congratulations.
new Burns in the world. Thank you so much. God, I really want to show you guys a picture, but I shouldn't put a picture of my daughter on here. Maybe I'll post one in the Discord. So if anyone cares, I'll post that in Discord. But she's very cool. I like her very much. But I'll say something honest with you guys. They're very ugly when they're first born, and I knew this was going to happen. I was very much expecting when she came out of my wife, um, to love her, but my expectation was that she was going to look like a shaved squirrel covered in goo, and it's true. Oh, Ryan, you share a birthday with her. That's awesome. And thank you so much for the congrats. But yeah, she's so weird looking when she came out, and I was so confused by it. But she's so cute now. She's really grown into it. But what a weird experience. I know there's a lot of parents in the chat. I got some really great emails from people doing that. But yes, Natasha, it's okay to admit it. Babies are ugly when they first come out. The Bird of Hermes says absolutely terrifying the first 3 minutes. Yeah, the first day or two. You know what? I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I have to make up for honesty. Um, the day she was born, I got like really sick in the hospital such that I couldn't keep food down and I had to get hospitalized the day my daughter was born. I laugh because it wasn't that serious, but I had to get hospitalized and put on fluids because I was up for almost 2 days straight. I kind of lost it. And then I had a crying spell because I was like, I can't be a dad. I'm not good enough to do this. I won't be able to do it. Yada, 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 yada. But it's fine. I got over it. I only say that to say that, like, you know, it's scary to become a parent. But some of you know that. Some of you know that. But it was pretty fun. Yellow Bunny says everyone looks like a raisin when they enter the world. Definitely do. Another fact I'll tell you about her, and then no more baby talk after this. I know some of you are just like fucking breeder. It's unethical to bring babies into this world. Yep, 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 yep. But this morning I got up really early to get her up to try to participate before I left to be here all day. And I don't know why, but when I was leaving, I was thinking about abandoning my child. So I did a Daniel Plainview impersonation from There Will Be Blood. And I held my daughter and she was smiling. We're having fun. And I looked her in the eyes and I said, I've abandoned my child. And she did not like it. She fucking lost it the second I did a Daniel Day-Lewis, Daniel Plainview impersonation. I was like, I want the blood. Give me the blood. So there you go. I'm glad that someone said the dad getting sick is kind of common. The mother is doing very good. My wife's she's pretty badass. Those people who have a kid and like a week later, someone is like, there's no fucking way you had a kid last week. Swear to God, that was my wife. But she's doing great. We're hanging out. And yeah, I've been on parental leave for the most part. I'm coming back a little bit. So I'm still kind of on leave, guys. So we're going to ease our way back into streaming. And we're going to test out days. For right now, it's going to be Wednesdays because Wednesday is the day that I come and film videos here, so it just makes more sense for me right now. I think if I tried to stream from home, it would just be like total fucking chaos. So we're going to do it from here. We can work on our setup and stuff. But we'll get back into the groove, guys. We're gonna work our way back up to a longer stream, but really just wanted to get it going. So again, thank you all for being here. I'm not gonna look at my work chat, but as this is happening, our company's been having like a town hall thing, and I think they just announced that like no one is getting raises ever. I see some messages coming in from some of my coworkers, your friends, Lux, Amanda, and Olivia, and yeah, I think our company is just they're just not getting anyone raises ever. I don't think I've gotten a raise in 2 years. Why am I saying this right off the bat? I just assume no one from the company is watching this right now. But guys, business, capitalism, the world, right? So a lot's happened since um, we've been together streaming. There's so many things happen where I was like, I would have talked about this. I would have talked about that. So let's get into it in a few ways. I don't know. What should we start with? God, could you imagine if we would have been streaming when what's the guy's name? When Oliver, whatever his name is, put out his song.
Yeah,
Thank you, Julia, for that.
Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yeah, yeah, Richmond, north of Richmond. What a world that whole thing really got at something. Really got at something right there. Um, just to sort of for those who like modern country music, just sort of like a poor man's Tyler Childers doing a kind of politically incoherent song, and then all like the online fascist immediately being like, "This is our Bob Dylan," and then they interview the guy, and he's like, "Oh, diversity is good. America's a melting pot." And they're like, "No, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that." We haven't talked about the band yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chris, Wednesdays from now.
he just has the typical political incoherence of like most Americans in some way. Just Anthony not being as extreme as like what his right wing fans wanted him to be. That was pretty much a mess. Especially with all
Yeah.
the
Well, and the
online.
best, yeah.
Oh, just the
Go ahead.
online, just letting the online attempt to possess country music as if it wasn't like socialist or folk ever, and has always been like conservative.
Oh my god, yeah, I mean, there was that Twitter thread, and I forget who had it, where someone, like, outlined how, like, real country isn't left or socialist or whatever it is. Guys, for those of you who don't know, like, the history of country music is the history of, like, people I mean, the funny thing now
Just
is
look up a
country
picture of
artists make
Woody
these
Guthrie.
songs. Yeah, like, Woody Guthrie and the earliest, songwriters like that, like in, what's like, Pete Seeger, all these folks were, like, socialist union folks. Then outlaw country dudes were literally just like, "I shot a cop while drinking whiskey."
Yeah.
And now country artists are like, "In my small town, we back the blue." Oh, Aaron V gifting memberships. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, so it's just very funny to see that happen, and I'm someone I was gonna say this won't shock you guys. This won't shock you at all. I like country music a lot, and some of my favorite contemporary artists. Like I love people like Sturgill Simpson and Jason Isbell and Tyler
Yeah.
Childers and Margot Price and Casey Musgraves. And the cool thing about all these people is that they're like at least vaguely progressive and they're not like racist and they support the queer community and that's good and they make the best music. So, but yeah, it was very funny to watch that happened. Penny Walls are bringing up Johnny Cash. Yeah, like go back to friggin' Johnny Cash. You talked again. He hated the cops.
Yeah, just look up like
But that
any
was
Chris Christopherson interview. He's always talking about that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Like Willie Nelson. Ever heard of him? Willie Nelson, who had to have his birthday party, and I'm sorry to Henry for this, not in his home Austin, but here in LA because he wanted to have his birthday party at a venue where you could legally smoke weed. So they had to have it out here. I went to one night of it. It was very fun. By the way, so we had our Oliver. I forgot his name again. Is it Oliver Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah. But again, incoherent. Wasn't right enough for the right, isn't left enough for the left. But honestly, that song, besides making fun of like overweight people, it's just like meh, you know?
Yeah,
Like that line is just like, okay, but besides that, it's just like meh.
until it got to the second verse, I was like, this is just kind of like a middling country song, I guess. And then, yeah, the second
Yeah.
verse was just lyrically kind of abysmal, but otherwise, yeah, it's just eh.
Yeah. Urinator full on hates country music. Urinator, listen to like, I don't know. Urinator, just maybe try. I'm just curious if you like listen to like Sturgill Simpson or something like that. I don't know. Something that I don't know has a little
Yeah,
edge to it. I think you might like it.
Sturgill's a good starting point, I'd say, for
Well,
like
and
trying to get in.
Sturgill to just keep guys, today is going to be very much an ADHD day of bouncing around just talking about stuff. Sturgill Simpson in the most recent season of The Righteous Gemstones. Um, Pretty sick.
Yeah.
A season which I still haven't finished because when you have a kid, you don't get to finish all the TV shows. But I thought that was very sick.
He's also been in the
Um,
soundtrack to Reservation Dogs, which is running its third season right now and is very
oh,
good.
another thing I'm behind on. Someone said, listen to Shania Twain. Someone said, how do you afford to live in LA? Not very, not very. Me, Um, Me and my wife both have jobs. We live in an apartment that the rent hasn't gone up in 7 years. I literally pay some of the cheapest rent in LA. We have a rent controlled apartment, but we can basically never move because in our neighborhood now, if we wanted to move to an apartment that was exactly the same as ours, it would cost twice as much. So there you go. I currently have this plan where I wanna move someplace else, but I'm not gonna talk to you all about that just yet. So we have that. So that thing happened, and then I don't know if this was confirmed, but then it was said that that Oliver Anthony guy was at Burning Man stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
How
I
about
heard that as
Burning
well.
Man, guys? Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but if it was, it would be so funny. It would be so funny um, that that would happen because the Burning Man people are like the tech rich people that
It's
he
like
hates.
a thousand
Um,
bucks for one ticket for the ticket alone.
Yeah, if you're in the chat and you're a person who likes, has been to, enjoys Burning Man, just let us know. I don't want to be too judgy. So Mita said, "Did you see Vosh's breakdown of the country singer dude's timeline? It doesn't seem weird, but what do you think?" I have not seen it.
Yeah,
Um,
I have not seen that
oh,
either.
yeah, Uria in London. London runs crazy. Ring around the rosy. Just moved to LA. It's 4 grand a month. Yeah. Someone said, yeah, all live streams ADHD. There was some comment. Yeah, multiple people have called me out and been like, hey, Michael, all the streams are pretty ADHD-ish. Um, but yeah, I think the Burning Man thing I found funny. Again, maybe I'm missing some nuance here. We'll probably be a little less nuanced as we get into it, but I find Burning Man be one of the silliest things ever. Now, early on, it doesn't seem like it was silly because it seems like actual freaks started it. And I say freak in a positive way, but then now it's not freaks. It's like tech tech bros and rich people.
There's like smaller sub
So
communities of burners that do like regional burns and stuff that aren't Burning Man too, who are in it for like, they like the concept of like a no money sustainable community type
yeah,
that type of environment. And there are people who are there for that vibe. It is Burning Man specifically that's like as the big one, the one that gets like commercialized and like that's the one all the rich people go to because it's the one that's like known by name.
yeah. Um, yeah, so James Gibson videography in the chat. Glad to have you here, James. Says, haven't been to Burning Man, but I went to my first regional burn and it was amazing. Can totally see how the original, as it got huge, would be overtaken and become more commercialized. Yeah, I mean that sounds fun. Like I would be in ooh, Emmylou Harrison, Dolly Parton. Let's fucking go. Also, just to be clear, I did bring up some female country artists before. I think I referenced Casey Musgraves and Margot Price. Um, Margot Price is one of my favorite people in the world. Um, Also, we'll lead into this in a second, but some of you know I got kicked off Twitter. I'll get to that in 2 seconds. But just to give our station identification for anyone tuning in, it's Wisecrack Live. For those of you who haven't seen this before, it's a weekly stream we do that we have done. It's me. My name is Michael. I'm here with producer Henry. We sometimes have
Hello.
guests. We talk about things going on in the culture and on the internet. Um, it's sort of the wisecrack vibes you like, but slightly more unhinged. And that sort of thing. We have the best chat community on YouTube. I don't know what the best chat community has been for the past 2 months. Um, but now it's back and now we're here. So there you go. Really glad to have all of you here. As always, shout out to all of our green username members. It's a thing you can do if you want to. Um, giving people subscriptions or memberships is a fun thing. It makes you Lord of the Chat. We do have one Lord of the Chat. Is it Aaron? I think, or Aaron or Aaron is Lord of the Chat today. So join Aaron as a fellow Lord of the Chat. We also have a Patreon. You know this. We'll be doing more stuff on there soon. Curtis says long to strong. Of course, please like the stream. It helps us when you like the stream because it shows it to people. I imagine the algorithm is a little bit confused now that we're back. Um, whew. Let's see. Okay. 1 second.
Jackson entered the chat.
Oh my God, Jackson Mayer's here. Jackson's the best. Oh, Jackson's new video on how to with John Wilson. Absolute banger.
Yes.
Um, I will say that I caught up on a lot of YouTube. Dead Card 13 gifting 10 memberships, fellow lore of the chat. Um, if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, skip intro. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? But it's very good. And I was catching up on a lot of YouTube when I was home with the baby. And I was watching a skip intro video. And my wife more or less was just like basically implied that the Jackson's videos are better than Wisecrack videos. And it was tough. And I was like, do I want this child to be raised in a broken home? I don't. But that's how good Jackson's videos are. That my own wife, who should just support me unequivocally, was like, I don't know, this shit bangs. So check out his channel if you haven't. Um, so we're here. Another thing as we're bouncing around today, and then we'll talk about Twitter. Um, an idea I had while sleep deprived and having my first beer in a month when I saw Wisecrack Associates, Michael Luxembourg, and Amanda Shirker in person a couple weeks ago, had this idea or had this thought of what if we started a separate feed, a YouTube feed at Wisecrack, where we only talked about movies and TV. Some of you know that the channel used to be super film and TV focused, and we used philosophy and critical theory to talk about movies and media. We've skipped away now and done skipped away. Ooh, moved to doing more cultural, political, social analysis. Now, some people are like, why do you do that? It's because those are the videos that you all watch. Those are the videos that do numbers. Those are the videos that allow us to get sponsors and keep the lights on. And we like it. Like we like talking about culture, society, politics, media, tech, all those sorts of things. But we also fucking love movies and media and all sort of things. So we're thinking about maybe doing a separate stream, a separate like feed on YouTube that would have videos doing, where myself and others would talk about movies and TV in the context of like philosophy and critical theory, very old school Wisecrack, and maybe where we could also have some type of movie media related podcast type thing. So I don't know. We might do that. I did a poll on our Twitter about that. So I don't know. Something we're thinking of. If you're on the Discord server and you have ideas for that or thoughts, drop them in the Wisecrack live chat. I'm glad to see you too, King 1876. But yeah, and then when people talk about like separate channels, the reason for that is YouTube, their algorithm is hyper specific. And what it basically does is it sorts you into a category. So we're kind of now, the way they sort us is as a video essays on society, culture, and philosophy channel. They don't sort us as a movie analysis channel. So if we start posting videos about movies, they're not going to serve them up and they're going to fail. So we would need a separate feed to be hyper specific in that way. But yeah, something we might do. Let's see. Randall Turner said, Michael, I need you to know that the amount of unhinged stuff that's made it into recent video edits has been giving me a lot of joy. Had to drop by the live at work because I love you at your most ADHD-ish. Thank you, Randall. Two things. Oh, Andrew, congrats on having a kid, dude. It's so scary, right? It's so scary, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, man. Andrew, we're gonna do it. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So some of the recent videos that I've hosted, at least, I started coming into the studio a few weeks ago at various levels of sleep deprivation. So I've just been like hanging on by a thread while filming those. Um, Also, Jackson, who's in the chat right now, guys, the work that this human being is doing is top notch. Jackson's editing work on the online apologies video is one of the best things I've ever seen. It's so good. If you haven't watched that one, just go for it. Jackson's just the best. He's the best. Bye, Logan Mansion Games. Urinator said, "Do you have time for a second channel?" I mean, not really, because we're a really small team at a company that refuses to pay anyone. But so we'd have to figure out a way to do it to make it work. The other thing, I like letting you guys in the big business side. You know how you all hate when we have shifty sponsors because we'll have a video where we're talking about like Marx or Adorno, and then you're like, actually, your video on Marxist and critical theory principles is undermined by the ad for the sketchy company, which is fair. Speaking of that, the BetterHelp thing that that Jackson dropped in one of the recent videos was pretty much art. Um, but if we had a separate feed that was doing movie and TV stuff, it'd be easier for us to get some ads on that because it's easier to sell ads if someone's like, "What does your channel do?" "Oh, we like talk about movies and culture." They're like, "Okay." But if they're like, "What do you do?" And we're like, "Oh, we talk about the way that capitalism is ruining culture as a sort of cancer that's devastating everything that was good in the world, including the very consumer space that you exist in." They're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that." Um, and yeah, shouts to Helen as well. Helen, who's been on the stream before. Helen Flourish, the other host here, Urinator, just brought her up. Um, she's been doing fucking great work. She's the best. So hopefully we can keep her around more. And especially if we do a second feed, it would help. So I don't have to do too much stuff. Michael Dodge says, could the Workers of Wisecrack spinoff chat gang would for sure switch over? I think, if we ever did anything else, it just couldn't be Wisecrack because our parent company, like they own Wisecrack as a brand. We do not own that. So like to be like literally like 100 with you all, we would all have to, I actually no, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. It was gonna be too much, guys. It was gonna be too much. Jump on Discord and we can talk about it. So let's talk about Twitter. We'll talk about the personal and then the political. So first, some of you have followed me on Twitter before or over the years or things like that. Guys, I got kicked off Twitter. I got kicked off Twitter a couple weeks ago. I woke up one morning um, to, awake my gorgeous daughter, and before looking into her eyes, I of course had to check Twitter. And I opened the app, and it was like your account is suspended. And I was like, what? Maybe I did something a little bit froggy. And I've like a couple times over the years had a thing where it was like, hey, you gotta delete this tweet. It's too much. And it's like, yeah, okay. Um, but I, open up the app and I realize I'm not just like suspended, I'm like banned permanently. And I can't even fully see why. But it shows me a tweet that was over a month old. And I don't even know for sure who I retweeted. I think it was like Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson. And it was some fascist bro who was talking about something like fascist. And they talked about pivoting to video or pivoting to something. And I retweeted it and I wrote, maybe you should consider pivoting to KYS. Some of you know what that acronym means. I'm not going to say the words out loud, okay? Now let's say like, was that the best thing to say? You might be saying like, Michael, you're a father. I tweeted it before I was a father. Um, but so I got like permanently banned for that. Sure, sure. Since then, I've gone on Twitter and I searched for the phrase like KYS, and there's hundreds of people at any given moment like violently tweeting that at people, often like trans and queer activists. I've tried to appeal to get back on, and you might be thinking, why would you want to be back on? Well, because like, I have like friends on that website, people I met via that website. Professional connections. And I'll be honest, a few famous people followed me, and I thought that was really cool. And now I never am gonna have that affirmation of having a couple vaguely famous people follow me anymore. So um I've tried to appeal it, but when I appeal it, I get an auto response that's like, no. So it's clear that no one is looking at. Aaron said, what, you have friends? Only internet friends, guys. Only internet friends. Um, but the thing I find crazy, so I'm like sad to not be there. I did start an alt account for myself. That's my old username backwards. If anyone does want to follow me, it's just Burns O Michael. My username used to be Michael O Burns. I guess I'm not like over promoting that because I don't, because it's clear that there's some like fascist twerp out there who tried to get my account deleted because there's no reason that a month-old tweet should have done that, but whatever.
We'll see
But
now
I go on
how
my new
soon
account.
that new account gets canceled if any are watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I got canceled. But here's the thing, right? Twitter is like all like free speech. Oh, it's a free speech space. Free speech, free speech, free speech. You know who has free speech on Twitter now? Nazis. I'll say it again. Twitter is now a free speech platform designed basically for Nazis. To give you an example, I don't know if y'all heard of and talking about friends too. A bunch of you guys are people that I've interacted with on Twitter, and I can't interact with anymore, so that's sad. Um, but there was a really fucking horrible news story. I won't get into too much because it's really sad. But a woman who owned a store in a mountain town in Southern California was murdered because she had a queer pride flag at her store, and someone showed up and didn't like that, and shot her and they killed her. And it turned out that the person who shot and killed this woman was an active Twitter user, and their pinned tweet was a photo of a burning pride flag. And I guess numerous uh, queer activists and just like humans reported it to be like, hey, can you get this person to take this tweet down? And Twitter was like, nope, it's not against our policy. So this is a platform now that like protects the rights of people to fucking post burning pride flags. And these are the types of psychopaths that are then going and fucking murdering people. Um, it's a platform where, for those of you who are still on it or go on sometimes, it's constantly just serving you up like blue check bros saying Nazi adjacent stuff or like talking about high value men and how all women are sluts and stuff like that. Also, that discourse is crazy. Was it Tim Pool started tweeting about that? What a fucking nerd, dude. What just the worst. But yeah, it's just so weird how how so how so quickly that platform has just turned into a little Nazi haven for really angry men. It's not good. And Mez Love in the chat says, sad, honestly. Never perfect. It was a good place to find funny and smart people. I want to leave it, but it's good people I missed. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. Dare Johnson, you're here. Hi. Ryan, hello. We love you. Max says free speech as long as they're conservative. Um, Natasha said, I've had a queer pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag outside my house for 2 years. People have literally driven by, flipping me the bird when I drink coffee on my porch. What the fuck, man? I'm Natasha. I'm so sorry. It's just like ridiculous. Like, who cares? And again, we're not political on Wisecrack Live. If you're just tuning in, we're not political. Um, we have some principles. Our only principles are radical empathy. We try to be empathetic to people. And we
Don't
think everyone
flip
should have a
people
nice
off
life.
for flying, the flag in their yard.
Yeah. It basically is 4chan now. But again, those are our principles. And I'm willing to even I go too far with the empathy sometimes. It's like, why are all these men so angry on the internet? Why are they so mad at people? I don't know, like and this is something I want to work on a video for the channel, but like I don't know. I kind of buy the idea that there's like a loneliness epidemic amongst a lot of American men internationally, and a lot of them are super alienated. And I don't want to disregard like the mental health factors that play into all this sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
don't think that anyone is just inherently like an evil, bad person. And I think there's a lot of grifters out there, like the Tim Pools of the world, that take advantage of the loneliness, anger, and alienation of young men by offering them um, compelling but false narratives to why things are that way. Like,
The bringing up the
some
4chan label, it just brings to mind that like that was edgy in like 2008. Like I just feel we're experiencing a generation aging, and like we're just kind of seeing more and more of like that general attitude because of how common it is among like a Generation X slash older millennial generation. And yeah,
yeah,
it's awful.
yeah. Where was this comment I wanted to look at? Mita says, "Do no harm, but take no shit." I really like that vibe. I really like that. Dig Dug said, "I'm in an anxiety rage despair cycle. I blame billionaires and cops mostly." Yeah, I mean it's really hard. And here's the thing too. I have so much empathy for people that are mad. So like last night, to get really personal with you and let you into my boudoir, I was lying in bed. I couldn't sleep. I'll tell you why I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about the fact that I have a job, and I have a job that offers me healthcare. I do have to pay some for it, but I have like a good healthcare plan, like a really really good healthcare plan. And in the last month or so, I've had to pay over $1,000 in medical costs, most of which has gone on a credit card, on top of my good healthcare plan, right? For stuff that's covered. Like I talked before about how I had to get hospitalized the day my daughter was born to get fluids because I was like dying. And I had insurance and I got a bill for $400 for that, you know? Having a kid recently, so expensive. Like America's this country where it's all like, oh, pro-life, 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 baby's good, baby's good, baby's good. Then why does it cost $10,000 to have a fucking kid, my guys? Why are there very few benefits for, women and single mothers, especially have kids? Like shit's expensive. Was thinking the same about, student loan payments are restarting, interest is starting again. It's hard not to look at the world and be like, fuck. In the 2 months since I've been gone, I mean, Jesus, how many weird weather disasters has there been? We had like a tropical storm warning in Southern California, you
It
know?
has been extremely
Um,
hot in Texas.
yeah, horrible. Looking at the temperatures is scary. I mean, like, yeah, people are talking about this in the chat right now. Michael Dodge and some bring things up. It's just like, it's hard not to be a little mad. Um, but yeah, oh, someone brought up an anthropologist dude doing research into alt-right internet people like an ethnography. That sounds cool and it sounds scary. And I hope that person can keep their soul clean. Um, let's see. Scott said it's one thing to empathize with some of these men, but truth be told, a lot. Yeah, no, it's true. There's some people that just want violent and want stuff. What does it cost extra to hold your own child after birth in some states? Who knows? Yeah, it's so expensive. Um, Let's see. Yeah, Lance said, "Shout out to health insurance being tied to your employment." And that's the thing too, people in America will be like, "Fuck Denmark. I don't wanna live in a country where my tax rate that's high." It's like, "Dude, tax me. Tax me so hard, daddy. Tax me all day, daddy. Tax me from both sides, daddy,
You
if
have
it means that
access
I
to
don't have to pay for
doctors
healthcare or
and
education."
homes. Like, yes, tax me. Make it cheaper. Make it affordable.
Yeah. Fuck, man. 2K says, "I was laid off yesterday, day after Labor Day, and the same day my student loan payments kicked in." I'm fucking sorry, man. That sucks. It really sucks. Um, Obviously, nothing I can do other than just say that sucks. I'm real sorry. Very, very, very sorry. So let's look at Henry picked up this article. Dear Linda, how do we say it? Is it Yacarino?
Oh yeah, let me pull that up really quick.
Let me click the thing so I can read the whole thing. Um, Yeah. Aaron said, "I love paying my taxes. Iceland, not shitty Denmark, thankfully." Aaron, one of my favorite things is the hatred between Scandinavian countries, like talking to Danes about Swedes or Swedes about Norwegians or people in Iceland about Denmark. It's so fun. I did a summer intensive where I learned Danish, and our Danish teacher would show us these like comedy skit videos of people making fun of people from the other countries, and I just thought it was really funny. Um, Mitch is Danish and the US sounds kind of dystopian. No, it is like, let's see. What we left behind says, "I'm 32, live in Denmark. I have mental illness diagnosis. I'm a trans woman. However, the Danish healthcare system is so generous. I don't need to worry about money, and my transition is free." That's amazing. What we left behind. That's very cool. Damn. Lance got laid off the last day of the month. They provide health insurance until the last day of the month. Yeah, I mean they do this. Aaron, yes, I'm so sorry that we both had to learn Danish. Ah, but yeah. Any Americans have a least favorite state? The one thing I don't like when people do the least favorite state thing is I feel like people are really unfair to the South. I mean, Henry can speak to this, but like, I don't know. Sometimes when people are, oh, Alabama or Mississippi or whatever, it's like, I don't know. Those are states that like are largely, um, you know, poor, working, underserved people of color who have been
Yeah.
completely left out of the political system and basically live in de facto segregation. And I'm not just going to rip on a state because a small number of influential folks, vote one way. And it's important to know in America, like when we talk about red states and blue states, the margins are never big. Like when we think of like, there's one cycle, Florida will be a blue state by like 1%. And one cycle, Texas will be a red state by 0.5%, and vice versa. Like these margins are whatever. Nubel said, "Did you learn Danish to read Kierkegaard?" Yes. And it was useless. Jackson is scared of Idaho. Wow.
I
What's
yeah, Idaho has weird vibes, but terrifying. Interesting.
Yeah, Kentucky is beautiful. I do not want to live there. Jackson really hates Idaho. Because wait, Jackson lives in Washington, I'm pretty sure. Oops, I'm sorry. You know what, Jackson? It's a big place. No one's gonna drive to Washington and just be like, "Where's Jackson? Where is he? I'm gonna find him. Where's that skip intro son of a bitch?" Sleepy Lights hates Florida and lives there. Yeah, Jersey people talk about. I mean, I would say Florida is my least favorite state, but I'll tell you why. It's because I lived there for a while, and I think Florida is like cool in so many ways and has so many things going for it, and it's being completely devastated and so sad. So Matt says Montana is terrifying. People hate Idaho, guys. People hate Idaho. Okay, so let's check out this article. I'm not familiar with the author. Is this someone you do you want to preface any of this, Henry, before we look at it?
This is one I wasn't too familiar with either until I came across the
Oh,
Substack. But yeah, dear Linda Yaccarino.
okay. Let's see. So Linda Yaccarino, Elon's right hand person. Yeah, someone brought up how rural Illinois is just as rural as Texas. Yeah, I mean, God, as someone who claims to be both from Florida and Illinois, because those are my two places I lived when I was growing up. Yeah, rural Illinois is like basically southern. Um, Illinois just happens to have Chicago in the suburbs. Okay, it says I wasn't going to write this because I assumed it would be all over the news, but it wasn't. There was one brief article in Rolling Stone. Elon Musk wades deeper into anti-Semitic propaganda. Arkansas. Sorry, just looking at the states and stuff. Okay, so here's a quote from the article. A hashtag pushed by right wing ideologues and rife with anti Semitic content is trending on X, the site formerly known as Twitter. I think it changed to X while I was off as well. All time stupidest shit ever. Like, you just buy a business for tons of money, you ruin it, you alienate all the advertisers and some of your users. You've changed the name to X, which is so dumb. But it says, and it's being shown support by owner Elon Musk. It's a new low for a platform that has seemingly abandoned the fight against hate speech. Except me, I'm the big hate speech guy, I guess. On Thursday, a number of accounts began tweeting "ban the ADL," calling on Musk to remove the Anti-Defamation League from the site. I was about to explain this, but it's here. The ADL is a civil rights organization focused on combating anti-Semitism and extremism. Momentum for the action seems to have been stirred by a meeting earlier in the week between the ADL's national director, Jonathan Greenblatt, and Linda Yaccarino, in which the pair discussed how to curb the hate and toxic propaganda that have flourished on X ever since Musk's takeover last year. I say that, yeah, someone said it's like HBO to Max. Yeah, guys, all these big, brilliant businessmen do the dumbest shit. Like big, brilliant Elon Musk changes Twitter to X and ruins it. Big, brilliant, is it Zaslav who runs
Yes,
HBO
David
or
Zaslav.
Discovery or whatever? Yeah, fucking ruins the HBO Max app and makes this stupid thing called Max, which I think is just lost money. And hey, thanks for everyone who's here. Again, it's 10:55. It's Wisecrack Live. If you haven't been here in a while, I'm Michael Burns. Henry is on the line. He's our producer extraordinaire. Um, we're back. I have been on paternity leave. I still basically am, but I'm working like a day and a half a week right now because I'm a company man. If you've never been here before, we hang out, we talk about stuff. We've got a couple lords of the chat. With Aaron and Dead Card have been our lords of the chat. If you want to be a lord of the chat, consider just randomly gifting some memberships to the channel. It's a fun thing to do if you got a little money to throw around. You can also consider joining our Patreon. So many of you have heard this before. My pitch on Patreon is just always if we build our Patreon community out and make a good portion of our money from there, we're less dependent on shifty companies advertising in the algorithm. And long term, if we get, and this would be like, and I'll be real with you guys, we would have to have, like, 5 to 10 times as many patrons as we do right now. We could justify making audio and video content just for the Patreon community where we could kind of do whatever we wanted. So there you go. Someone said Max is chaos. It is. And then like the stream, guys, like the stream to get raw dome. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know as well, um, if the stream hits 1,000, you guys get raw dome. That isn't what you think it means. It means that you get to see my raw head. A thing that few have seen. Okay. Um, so let's get back to this. So yeah, but unless I've overlooked it, the only other articles I found about this were published in Israel from the Jerusalem Post. Quote, Elon Musk is engaging with white nationalists and anti-Semites who want to ban the Anti-Defamation League from Twitter, the influential social media platform he now calls X. Musk on Saturday asked his followers whether he should pull the platform about a hashtag ban the ADL embraced. I mean, imagine if it was like ban the, NAACP or whatever it is. Like anytime you're talking about banning an organization whose sole purpose is defending the rights of a marginalized, depressed, or harassed group, the writing's on the wall, guys. It's not like hard.
I
It's not
hate
hard.
the hate
Sleepy Lights.
speech organization.
Yeah. 420 is sick. Sleepy Lights, thank you so much. I hope I raise a good child too. Um, it's so nerve-wracking. It's so nerve-wracking. Um, yeah, Meslove says, imagine buying one of the most internationally recognizable branding in the world and scrapping it. Guys, people that own the companies are the biggest dummies. They just are. Look at what's going on with like the strikes right now. There's so many strikes, but in particular the ones here in Hollywood. WGA and SAG. Like these studios are just losing so much money because they just don't want to like pay people a pretty fair raise to do their work. Okay, back to this article. So let's say Musk had earlier liked the tweet launching the hashtag by Keith Woods, an Irish white nationalist. Why does he have to be Irish? God damn it. By Keith Woods, an Irish white nationalist and self described raging anti Semite. Guys, anti Semitism is bad. Aaron, thank you so much. Aaron's a philosopher. Shouts to Aaron for that. What's the vibe of Icelandic philosophy, Aaron? Jackson says general strike. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. I am for real. I would love to make the owners cry. Musk liked two subsequent tweets by Woods, the self-described raging anti-Semite. To be clear, the laugh right there when I said raging anti-Semite isn't because that's funny. It's because the absurdity of the world we live in. Like, what are you going to do other than laugh? Who touted Musk's support to his followers. The hashtag was widely embraced on Twitter by the far right, including Andrew Torba, a Christian nationalist who refuses to speak with Jewish reporters and who founded Gab, a social media site, as a readout for the far right after Twitter started banning extremists. The shooter who killed 11 Jews at a prayer in Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018 broadcast hours plans on Gab before the attack. Wow. It's great. Real great stuff. From another source, following a 72-hour social media storm of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and attacks on the Anti-Defamation League, alarms sound on Elon Musk's platform of hate speech under the guise of free speech. Except alarms aren't sounding. Rolling Stone and The Forward seem to be the only publications in the U.S. that wrote about it and left missing. In other words, only one publication that isn't explicitly oriented to the concerns of Jews thought this was newsworthy at all, from The Forward. Since Musk bought Twitter in 2022, the platform, which he rebranded as X, has reinstated thousands of accounts that have been banned for promoting hate speech, including O'Brien's, Kanye West, and Donald Trump's. Musk himself has made and amplified a variety of disturbing comments related to Jews, including quotes from Nazis and friendly public exchange with bigots. It just makes you want to watch Inglorious Bastards and see Brad Pitt cut up some Nazis. What a movie! Imagine not liking Inglorious Bastards. I talked to someone recently who really didn't like that movie, and you know what? To each their own. But I probably watch Inglorious Bastards like once a year, and as I watch it, I'm always thinking like, is this my favorite? It's not the best movie, but is this my favorite movie? Um, let's see a little more of this article. They helpfully compiled these disturbing comments in another article. They also wrote why Elon Musk is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. Let's see. So someone said I don't like the man, but PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla all improved with Musk's influence. What I'd love someone to explain to me is how much did like he do, right? And I'm not trying to be silly here, but like he didn't build the rocket at SpaceX. Um, he didn't build the car. Is it just that he put a bunch of money into stuff? I don't know. Um, but there you go. Let's see. Yeah, Penny Waldrip. I never expected hating Nazis to be a member. Um, so this piece goes on to say that article is important because as I've realized from discussing this with my father, if you don't use Twitter, you don't realize how big Elon Musk's vuvuzela is, or what it means when he signals approval to other users by liking, responding, or retweeting their comments. In fact, the words liking, responding, and retweeting probably means nothing to you. And that's the thing too. It's like the people Musk engages with on the site are just horrible. Um, let's see. Just checking some of the chat a little bit. Nice to see everyone here again. Beer patio, welcome back. Great name. I would love to be on a beer patio right now. Um, get ready for a digression. This is the point where those of you that that hate people with ADHD can leave negative comments after the fact. I've started drinking non-alcoholic beer since I had this kid. Not because I'm an alcoholic, not because I want to quit drinking, just because I've realized when you have a kid, you don't get to sleep a lot, and I've wanted to have the ritual of drinking a cold beer or two at the end of the day. Um, and it's not bad. They make some good non-alcoholic beers now. So if you're a patron or on Discord and you want my exclusive ranking of the best non-alcoholic beers in America, I'll give them to you. I put a lot of research into it. Okay. Let's see. Usually Musk doesn't explicitly endorse the most outrageously anti-Semitic thing. The outrageous anti-Semite has said he likes to retweet a response to something that, taken independently, is just ambiguous enough that it might be hard to construe it as anti-Semitic if you were, for example, an irretrievable imbecile. But Musk has turned all of Twitter into a giant engine for knowing what Musk is thinking at all times. It's inescapable. This means that every time Musk likes an anti-Semitic account or replies concerning to one of its lunatic claims, some 140 million aimless, vague, disconnected young men learn all about this fascinating theory that Jews secretly rule the world. Now, some of them live in countries where they've heard all this before, of course. Some of them have even heard it all before in America. But how exciting it is to them that now it's mainstream. It's all over Twitter. Elon Musk is letting us tell the truth at last about the Jews. Um, guys, it isn't good. You know, like it isn't good. And there's some tweets, here that are examples. This one from Gargamesh that says, Jews, we don't run the world. Also Jews, private company, told them what we're willing to accept. I'm not going to read all his tweets, but I'm sure we're scrolling through these. But like, man, some rough tweets. One from Eric Odinson. Also note that all these horrible tweets are from people that pay for the check mark. Why do you hate white people so much? Didn't my race supposedly save your ungrateful race from work camps? Jesus Christ, man. Who says this? Who says this?
Like what
Yeah.
calculus, like what tabs are these people taking? What are they going to cash in with like their grievance like math? Like
Yeah.
your ungrateful
God, these tweets
race,
are just
like who
so
owes who
horrible.
what? What's your fucking lensing of the world, person?
Uh, the killers of Christ have no place controlling Americans. Also, read the Bible. It was the Romans, you dumbass. Sorry. Bible Corner. Everyone loves Bible Corner. Um, oh, now we're gonna put Henry Ford stuff. Henry Ford, one of the worst anti-Semites in history. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I basically like I'm just rolling through on my end here. We don't need to give too much I guess promotion to all this. But basically, well, we'll stop there. But basically, this article goes on and basically posts a fucking bazillion anti-Semitic tweets. Yeah, and someone says you can be white and Jewish. Of course, like so much of this is the yeah, Aaron now going for the Norwegians. I mean, yeah, so much of this is yeah. I don't want to get too much into it. We got a little bit into it, but it's messed up. CJ to the X. I owe you an email. I'm really sorry I haven't gotten back. It's been really busy with the kid. I saw your email yesterday. I want to do it. So here's me saying that. I'm going to email you back. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of things. For most of you, that means nothing. But for me and CJ to the X, that means something. But it's bad, guys. It's bad. It's bad out there. Let's see. Andrew Stevens says Bible Corner, new non-political Bible interpretation podcast. Yeah, Sean, the list just kept going for. I stopped scrolling. That list just kept going. Yeah. Um, but it's it's worrisome. It is worrisome. Now, selfishly, and let me note, I'm about to do something selfish and borderline narcissistic. And I'm just going to note that, and I'm going to do this. There's a selfish, narcissistic part of me that's like, I don't get to be on Twitter for one dumb retweet where I use the letters KYS, and all these fucking Nazis get to be on there all the time, right? And I don't get to be on that platform, hoping that one of the two famous people that follows me likes my tweets. I got a lot of mental validation from that. Let's see. Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, empathy, love, accept, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you're still on Twitter, have fun. And like all this is said too, like I wish I could be back, but I'm not on it. But like, what's going on? What's going on, guys? I wish we had some good news. I wish good stuff was happening. Um, Someone said if you say it, it's no longer narcissistic. At least it's like honest, you know? To quote noted Twitter Nazi Kanye West, we're all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it.
It's okay.
Um,
He saw
God,
22 Jump Street.
yeah. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that. Was that right? Like Kanye said, like he liked the Jews now that he watched the movie 22 Jump Street?
Yeah, but then I don't know. How's he feeling now with all the Jonah Hill truth that's come out? He's got to be right about that.
Yeah. Noted work of Jewish cinema, 22 Jump Street. Hmm. Oh, did all the weird Jonah Hill stuff happen when we were off?
No, I think that was right at the end. We talked about it a little bit, I think, on stream.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Um, oh, Meta says somehow ironically KYS means kiss in Danish. That's fun. Let's see. Hater said, when are you getting unbanned from Twitter? I'll like try again at some point, but they clearly don't even read the appeals. So what are you gonna do? CJ to the X does have an awesome channel. Oh, Jonah Hill just like said a bunch of real foul shit to the woman he was dating that was super misogynistic and controlling about like what she was allowed to do and where. And she leaked the text messages. It wasn't cool. Jonah Hill, clearly a guy that's going through it. When you make a documentary about your therapist and how you're the good boy because you go to therapy like the good boy, something's going on. Like shouts to therapy. I love therapy. The stream sponsored by BetterHelp, but it's not. But if you if you have to make a movie about how you go to therapy, that's sus. I'm just gonna say it. Let's see. Someone said we should shorten Burns' name to MB and watch as people guess if we are saying Michael Bay or Michael Burns. Hey, why not? Here's a question. And I know there's a new Harris Hole material we might watch. Did anyone watch the Johnny Harris video about how like Joe Rogan is good actually or something?
Yeah.
I don't I haven't seen it. I'm just wondering if anyone watched it. And it's one of those things that came out, when we weren't streaming, and I was like,
It's
that was designed for us.
Yeah, it's extremely kid gloves, and at the back end does point out some like valid Rogan criticisms, but it's kind of surprisingly light in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I is everyone like watch that? I couldn't wait till you talked about it. I don't watch Johnny Harris.
He did drop a new video this morning.
Is it in the watch together?
Yes.
Which one is it? The How to Sell a War?
Yes.
Oh wow, a war video. Yeah, let's watch a little bit of the new Harris just to really tick a lot of boxes of classic Wisecrack Live stuff. And then we are gonna bounce a little early today, guys, just because I'm tired. I've been up since about 6 a.m. and I gotta film some videos today. So whenever some Wisecrack videos come out where I'm wearing this, you know that I filmed them after streaming. and you can see if my energy level is just tanking. I'm gonna probably go try to get a coffee after this. Maeve says it's not Joe's good. It's more he's just not as bad as some say. Yeah, I mean that sounds fine. Um, Someone said he loved Anthony Bourdain. Harris's gushy hole. Oh yeah, guys. So we're gonna watch the war video, and then here's the thing: for those of you who don't know this, we watch Johnny Harris videos sometimes. The thing we started doing very early on in the life of Wisecrack Live. When we watch a Harris video, we call it diving into the Harris hole. It's a thing that we do. It's a thing that we talk about. So just know that we used to say that we love to hate him, we hate to love him. His videos have really good production quality. He often asks really interesting questions. Sometimes does cool stuff. Sometimes we're a little bit Sometimes we're a little on Harris. You know, he's like a nice ex-Mormon lib with progressive curiosities or something like that. So we respect it. Yeah, CJ the X is here. Fucking Skip Intro is here. This is where the real ones come to hang out, and it means a lot to see those people here. And hey, what's up, Bad Man Light? So we'll watch a little bit of this. We're not gonna watch the whole video just to check it out. This is more for me than you. Again, oh, we need the Harris Hole theme song. We're gonna get on that. Few other things. I have not checked this email since I've been on leave, but if you ever want to reach out to us about Wisecrack Live specific stuff, it's wisecracklive666 at gmail.com. Oh wow, if FD Signifier joined the chat, I would be overwhelmed. I want to like meet him, FD Signifier, because it'd be cool to get him on stream or work on a video together. I just don't know him. I don't think Harris is a Nebula creator, but I might be wrong. Let's see. But yeah, so if you ever want to reach out to us, that's our email address, wisecracklive666 at gmail.com. If you don't know the 666 thing, stick around. You'll find out in a future stream. But yeah, if you want to like write a theme song for any of our segments, if you want to make some graphics that you think would be cool, if you have questions, comments, we'll look at your emails on stream, anything like that. So there you go. Okay, CJ, that's really nice. See, CJ, you're making sure I email you now. You're like, I'm pot, you inconsistent son of a bitch. But again, thanks for being here. Thanks to our lords of the chat thus far, to Aaron and Deadcard13. If you want to be a member of our channel, it's a fun thing you can do. It's meaningless, but it's just like fun. It's fun, meaningless. You get a green username, you get some extra perks. It's fun for us. It helps the channel out. Also, I pitch it all the time, but check out our Patreon if you have money. If you like watch our channel a lot, if you like what we do, and if you want to connect a little bit more, have some free content, get our videos without ads. If you have $5 a month, consider it, is all I'm asking. Leverage for sure. Let's watch a little bit of this Harris video. I'm already scared by this music.
In the summer of 2002, the director of the British intelligence agency MI6, Richard Dearlove, traveled to Washington, D.C. to meet with the director of the CIA, George Tenet. The topic of the meeting was Iraq and its leader, Saddam Hussein. In the meeting, the CIA director shared classified information with his British counterpart, who then traveled back to London to 10 Downing Street, the home of the Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Dearlove told his Prime Minister everything about what was really happening behind the scenes in the United States. How the US was planning to invade Iraq no matter what. It was a highly classified meeting, but notes were taken and classified and put into a memo. That memo was later leaked.
A thought I had on me and my wife's first hike with our baby the other day was just like, America spends so much money on war. We're so into war. War is our big business. And it's hard to think about how to get out of that business, right? Because I was talking about maybe we just should not do this. And, you know, my wife was pointing out it's kind of hard to put the genie in the back in the bottle, but the amount of money that we spend on war, the way that war is the primary thing that America does is just insane.
To British author and journalist Michael Smith, who published it in 2005. And that's what we're looking at. A secret meeting and the memo it produced, meant only for the eyes of top British officials. It was an explosive leak. What we see is that Dearlove tells his Prime Minister everything he heard in Washington a few days earlier, and that this was a very different story than the one the Bush administration was telling to the public. That an American invasion was inevitable, that Bush's people were fixated on removing Saddam Hussein from power, no matter what, and that the US government was blatantly cooking up intel and facts to help sell their invasion. This document.
Sometimes you gotta like have some empathy for the conspiracy theorist, because it's like they're right that a lot of the things that we are, sold are fictions cooked up so that people behind the scenes can work towards their own interest. It's just a lot more boring and straightforward than a lot of conspiracists want it to be.
Shows us how power really works in our world. How a small group of people decided to topple a dictator.
Oh, we started screaming 69 minutes ago. That's amazing. Thanks for being here, guys.
To occupy a country, and then invented a story to support their plan. It was a false story, but it helped them sell a horrifying war. It's a story that is revealed in detail.
Logan Rees is here, speaking of other internet.
By the Downing Street memo.
States like these constitute an axis of evil.
One last chance to avoid war. The entire world must know that
the music for this is kind of fun.
Action is necessary.
Hey, we are interrupting the programming for a commercial break. That's how we're able to.
Fuck. Okay, so a thing I like to get into is his looks. So now we're past the hat. Hair looking incredible.
Yeah, this
Necklace.
lighting setup's
Silver
ridiculous.
necklace. Dude, this necklace with the short sleeve Henley buttoned down a bit. Guys, can I tell you I'm so embarrassed? Fuck. During my leave, I did some online shopping because I was really bored and losing my mind. Like, I need to do some online. And I decided one day, what if I became a Henley guy? I always just wear normal t-shirts. What if I wore shirts that had a few buttons on them? And I ordered some Henleys and I was like, I'm gonna unveil these. It's gonna be my new look this fall. And now I'm just gonna be a less than Harris in that necklace.
To make
God, it's
videos
cool.
and do all of this because we have sponsors. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you will know that I am a giant fan of therapy. Professional therapy with discount and see if it's a good fit. Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary.
I wonder if people get all up in his ass though when he does a BetterHelp.
The Secretary of Defense. This was just 10 weeks after the attacks that changed the course of history. But this document wasn't about that.
Pierce.
It was about Iraq, a country that had nothing to do with 9/11. Rumsfeld reviewed the document before meeting with an army general. He marked it up with his notes, giving us insight.
This is really tangential. If anyone's in LA, my band's playing a show on Friday, and I made some new stickers for the show, and one of the stickers is a 9/11 joke related to our band. It's very specific, but I figure anyone who would see a indie rock infused Grateful Dead cover band that has 9/11 joke stickers and is like, these are my guys, is someone I would die for.
Into what the Secretary of Defense of the United States was really thinking about after 9/11. How this group of military leaders were set on, quote, building momentum to topple Iraq's dictator Saddam Hussein, to decapitate the government, a government that was no longer useful to them. Saddam Hussein had been a useful client to the United States, especially in the 80s when he was waging a war against Iran.
Is this like Johnny Harris in his Adam Curtis light phase? Or something like that? Oh, I'd love to play in San Diego. But yeah, I don't know. There's something like vaguely. Oh yeah, here's a question for the chat and for Henry. Has Johnny Harris watched Adam Curtis's documentaries?
Yes.
You're like, would you say 100%?
Yeah, I has to, like, considering like his interest and proclivities and like being a YouTube online like video guy, like he has to know who Adam Curtis is. He has to have seen some of it.
I guess so. Yeah, well, I think Adam Curtis is one of those things where he's like not as. I think I would like to think that he's more for cool kids only than he is. You know, like that he's like our special guy. But yeah, Sean, it's not that, but that's a good one. And Aaron, listen, just we get to 1,000 views and we got Daddy Burns raw doming in a Henley. That's the new deal. I'm adding the Henley to it. So we get 1,000 concurrent viewers raw doming in a Henley. We'll watch a few more minutes. You guys can finish it later. I like to, when Harris goes anti-imperialism, I can't be mad.
United States. But those days were now over. Saddam had turned into.
You know what I like? I like sometimes. Wait, hold on.
To just a troublemaker in the region, creating instability that could threaten the U.S.'s easy access to oil.
2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. This conflict started August 2nd when the dictator of Iraq invaded a small and helpless neighbor.
What a guy.
And in many ways, Iraq was an old mess in need of cleaning up. a mess that Bush Sr. had failed to resolve during the first Gulf War. Iraq was supposed to disarm itself after that war, but had kicked out the UN weapons inspector teams. But that wasn't the main reason why right after 9/11 these guys were talking about invading Iraq.
Sorry guys, it's tangential today. I know that Jackson Mayer saw this. Henry, do you watch How To with John Wilson?
Yes.
Did you see the episode with the guy who was the personal trainer for the guy that did 9/11, who was proud of him because he had a goal that he accomplished?
Is that from season 3? I don't recall that. Like that.
Yeah, guys, I think it's episode 3 or 4 in the new season, or which just ended, of How To with John Wilson. Great show if you haven't watched it, y'all. It's a little under the radar. He interviews a guy who was like the personal trainer at a gym of one of the guys that did 9/11. And the guy's like, I was real proud of him because he worked hard to accomplish something that he believed in. And then John Wilson's just like, oh, it's crazy. The stuff that guy gets is wild. This Nebula New Harris video on fake olive oil sounds important.
Bigger reason is that these leaders wanted to remind the world who the global superpower was. They needed to, after being brutally attacked on their own soil. A non-US friendly regime like Iraq couldn't be allowed to stand in a post-9/11 world. Or, in the words of Rumsfeld himself, hours after the towers fell, quote, "We need to bomb something else to show that we're big and strong and not going to be pushed around."
That's like American ideology right there. We need to bomb something else to prove that we're the biggest, strongest boy. I know we have some Scandinavians in the chat. I was reading a book that had this anecdote about, and I'm going to get the dates here wrong, that it was like after, maybe in like the 1800s, 1860s or something, Denmark got, CJ, have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. I'll email you soon. That Denmark got absolutely smoked by the Prussians in some war. And then Denmark was like, you know what? Maybe we should stop trying to be a big, strong boy and look inwards and just have like a chill vibe where our country is good. And, I was just thinking about that. Like, what would it be for nations to not have to be the big, strong boy? Because to thread some needles and maybe start to wrap things up today, it's like the Twitter problem, right? It's like a certain type of dude, I'm using dude here in a gender inclusive way, who just feels like they gotta be tough and cool and strong and prove that they're good and prove that their daddy's number one. And it leads to bad and harmful things. And on an individual level, it's not nice. It can lead to acts of violence on a small scale. But when a government and the people that run the government are the people that just want to prove that they're daddy's biggest, strongest boy who has the biggest missile dick, and that their missile dick can blow up the world with more cum bullets than any other boys with missile dicks. It's just like, things don't go well. Things don't go well. Dead Card 13 says America is totally not overcompensating. Wildlife and Beyond says hello, and I'm saying hello back because that's just a cool username. Zolio says new American government slogan: we bomb stuff, you buy stuff. Zolio, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but literally, they bombed this stuff. After 9/11, George Bush gave a speech and told us to go to the mall. It's a real thing that happened. He's like, get back to the mall, baby. And there was an event at one of the malls where I lived in Florida that was literally like the post 9/11 get back to the mall event. A. Malloy, great call. I mentioned this earlier. Skip Intro's video on John Wilson is fucking rad. Let's do some quick hits. If anyone has any questions, thoughts, or whatever, we gotta leave soon. Let's do a real quick Barbenheimer discussion. What'd you say?
Oh, I was going to say, what about some What Arias as well on our way out, just to bring back into Dude Abides classic.
Great call. What Aria is a segment that our good buddy Dude Abides came up with, where we let people know what we're watching, reading, listening to, games that we're playing, stuff we're up to, just to share what we like. It's a positive thing. We're sharing positive things that we like that bring us joy. We might like learn stuff. We might find things we want to watch or listen to. We love to consume culture, because what else are we going to do? I'll just say the biggest movie event of the year happened when we were gone. Barbenheimer happened. Barbie was the first movie I saw after my child was born. My mother-in-law was in town helping, so I got to leave and see that. I did not see Oppenheimer until like last week. because it's hard to leave the house for a 3-hour movie when you got a little baby. I'm just gonna give my quick takes. I think Oppenheimer might be Christopher Nolan's best movie. I think it was really, really good. It's better than I thought it would be. Barbie, very good, very fun movie, but the way people talked about it was insane. It's the way that it was like, this is a classic.
Yes.
No, it is a fun movie. But guys, listen, was the movie fun? Yes. Was it well made? Yes. Was it visually stunning? Yes. Was it funny? Yes. Were the songs great? Yes. Were the performances awesome? Yes. Is Margot Robbie maybe the best actress in years and years and years and years and one of the last great movie stars? Absolutely. Was the movie a commercial for a toy?
Yes.
And some of the takes I was reading when I was still allowed on Twitter, I was just like, what are we doing, guys? And someone I like a lot, who works at The Ringer, writes for them, and is one of the hosts of their Midnight Boys podcast, Charles Holmes, who's great on Twitter. Right after Barbie came out, he had some tweet that was just like, I saw the movie, it was good, but I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. And I was like, thank you for saying it. But those are my takes there.
Yeah, love or hate Barbie, it's one of those movies where if I just listen to someone talk about it for about 40 seconds, I'll understand if they're like a good critic or someone who understands or can talk sanely about art versus if they're insane, because just everyone coming out talking about Barbie was just projecting way too much onto the movie. That is a plastic doll commercial that's very funny. It has some weak plotting. It has some weird inconclusive character stuff, but it is very spectacle driven, and I laughed pretty hard at a lot of it in ways I wasn't expecting, and it was a fun time at the movies.
Yeah. But that's the thing, and I don't blame the maker. It was a fun movie, and the musical numbers were clearly riffing off classic Hollywood. And
Yeah.
the Greta Gerwig was like, I want to make a fun, big budget, classic Hollywood movie. I think that there was some fun themes in there and themes about patriarchy that are interesting, but it wasn't a fucking art film. I don't think she was trying to make it one, and I don't know why sometimes people have this obsession to try to make a thing. It's not.
I find it kind of crazy hearing like critiques, for instance, that it's feminism's too remedial, as if Americans are all on the same page with feminism, and we've all read we all read bell hooks in 8th grade, right? Like, we all know what's going on as far as like our gender expectations and norms in America currently are, right? Like, what do you want out of the movie at that point, as far as what you want it to preach
Seriously.
or you want it to be, if not a Barbie movie, which is a toy about a girl who can girl boss her way through neoliberalism?
Yeah, it's a fucking toy movie that's going to open up a big empire for Mattel to make a bunch of bullshit movies. Someone brought this up in the chat. I do think, like, in terms of movies that I have seen this year, I'm behind. I think Asteroid City was just so good. Maybe we talked about that on stream. I forget.
No, I think very little.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So if you haven't seen that, I think the best American movie I have seen this year, and I have not seen all the movies, guys. I want to try to see Bottoms this week. Best movie I've seen this year so far is Past Lives by leaps and bounds. Past Lives, and even if we're going to talk about like people like Barbie, because it was a story that centered women made by female filmmakers. Past Lives is getting you there too, guys. Past Lives was so good. I don't know if it's on any streaming things yet, but I would check it out. Let's see. My Job is Beach, says Max. Spider-Verse also ripped. But again, Spider-Verse fucking ripped. It was so much fun. I'm so sad I didn't get to see it again on hallucinogens. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna go because I gotta film some videos and I need to like eat something and drink some coffee because I'm already fading. And we have to make 2 Wisecrack videos today. You all can hang in the chat though for a while. We can let that happen.
Well, you went extra.
We're plan on being back next week at this time. We'll post any updates on Wisecrack's Twitter page. Follow our Twitter if you don't already, because I still get to tweet from there. And sad ending in Past Lives, Joshua, but a beautiful and human ending. It's a fucking human movie, and I love it so much. But yeah, check out our Patreon if you haven't. Check out our Discord server. Really missed you guys. Really great to be back here. But I gotta go. I really gotta go. So I'll see you later, okay?
Thanks for joining us all. See you next week.
I didn't wave it a while. I waved at producer Olivia. Yeah, see you guys.
Bye.